Good evening and welcome to The First Layer. I'm your host, Richard Cleveland. You know that guy over there. That's Brian Baker. Hey, Brian. Which side are you on? Oh, okay. We're pointing to each other. Yeah, okay. There we go. So tonight we decided to do kind of an impromptu live stream, kicking off the year. We were going to kick off the year with our first episode on Tuesday, as most of you know, but some issues came up. Brian was pretty passionate about it and said, we got to do something tonight. So that's what we're doing. And we're bringing it to you, just you guys, nobody else, just you. So here we go. What we're going to do is run that intro, and then we'll be right back and we'll get into our topic of discussion. Oh, and it didn't cut back. Okay. You know. No audio for the clip. You should be able to be heard on that audio. Why can't you be heard? Jim sees your mouth moving. Now, why are you not coming through? You should be coming through as well. Because it's on external. We're trying something new tonight, folks. If this doesn't work, we'll go back to the way we were doing it. But did Brian become a mime, I think is what they mean. I'm just going to drink till we figure it out. Say something, Brian. Why are you not coming through? Okay. Just what I'll do is I'll go back to my shot, and then you can just join in the way we had it before. Okay. All right. I'll entertain you for a couple of minutes. Here we go. Can you guys hear me okay? Check your wires, John Powell says. Okay. We're trying something new tonight. It's obviously not working, so we're going to go back to the old way of doing things. But tonight, while Brian comes back in on the curse the cheesy green screen, Jake says, what we're going to do tonight is we're going to talk about this little guy. And for anybody that doesn't know what that little guy is, that is an XT60 connector. And as many of you know who are Ender 3 Pro users, that particular connector is on all of their machines. Now, there has been some discussion as to whether or not this is heating up, and whether it is soldered or crimped or all kinds of other things. So we're going to try and dispel that myth tonight. Brian, I see you there.
Yes, and I think this should work. We'll see if the camera actually cuts over to me. If not, it's probably a good thing, to be honest, but
hey, you never know.
I'll take it.
Well, the camera cut to you.
Oh, good. Okay, well, that's something.
Well, it did on my side anyway.
Oh, well, maybe it might just be your overlord. Let's see here. This is the problem with having all these windows open. I heard myself. I saw myself. This looks good.
All right.
Okay.
We can hear them. Okay. Now, the reason we're talking about this is Brian said to me on Friday, right?
Yeah, kind of all week. I've seen a lot of discussions on the CR10 Facebook groups, both the official one and the user group. about these connectors and heating up.
So
yeah.
has anybody else had a problem with these heating up? Because what I did, and I'm going to tell you about it, is I took a machine from Spool 3D, brought it home, and built it today. Brand new, no modifications, no nothing. This is brand new right out of the box. It's now printing one of my famous 60 by 60 XYZ cubes at 60 millimeters per second. So, Brian, tell me the issues that most people have been having.
So at the end of the day, the issue has been a lot of excessive heating on one side of the connector. I haven't actually looked at which side it was, but either way, it's at the point that connects the power supply to the main board that which drives everything else. I suppose I can start with my experience. I've actually got a print beside me that's in hour 90 right now. And at hour 12, at running the bed at 60 degrees Celsius, the hot end at 210, it was noticeably warm on that connector. Definitely not room temperature there. And I ended up turning off the bed and it returned back to normal. So I asked a few people around, one of them, Ron, who's in the chat at Canadian Maker Project, and he found his was scalding. And a lot of people, they're not catching fire. I'm going to make sure you understand. They're not catching fire, but they are warming up significantly and starting to melt the heat shrink for some people. So I went and tried it just before the show here, and I'll have a clip to share in a little bit, that as soon as I turned that bed to heat it up to 60 degrees, it warmed from the ambient temperature of 32 degrees within a minute up to about 45 to 50 degrees Celsius.
So yours is getting hot, whereas
Exactly.
the one that I did today and the one that I have at the shop, my Ender 3 that's sitting at the shop right now, I've never had an issue. But is yours a Pro or is yours just the Ender 3?
Mine is the Ender 3 Pro, and to the best of my knowledge, it was a production batch from either late October or early November based off when I purchased it.
Okay. So it sounds like there was a batch of these things that had either poorly soldered joints. And I'm going to show a picture because what I did today, just so everybody can see, and there's no trickery here, is I took a picture. I took the heat shrink tubing off one of the connections today before I put this thing together. And I'm going to show you guys that picture right now. So up on your screen, you guys can see that there's the picture of the XT60 connector. You can see here that it is completely soldered. There's no issues of it being crimped on. I don't think you can actually even crimp these. They have to be soldered. Now, I didn't do the other one because once you've done one, what's the point of doing the other one, right? So if you look here, you can see that solder is pretty deep down in there. And it looks to me as if they've got a little bit too much wire maybe hanging out here. I would have brought that shielding right up to the edge there. That's just me, but I understand they have to get solder to flow down into that connector. So, Brian, tell me, you've been reading on Reddit as well, right?
It's been a bit on Reddit, bit on Facebook. What really has shocked me is there's been a fair number of people suggesting that these ones that have had issues, they actually just crimped the connector and did not solder it. And as I said, I'm actually in hour 90 of this print, and it's so close to being done, I just can't bear to power it down for the sake of just checking.
No,
but as the week goes on, I've actually got XT connectors on order from Amazon, brand new ones, just in case they are faulty, just to see. I'd like to measure the resistance across it. So actually, if you have your printer powered down, that's the first thing I would do is check the resistance between those two contacts. And if you're seeing anything other than 0.1 ohms, really, there could be an actual problem there. But it does seem to be with high current draw. I haven't done the math, to be honest with you, but with the running just the hot end, you're fine. If it's when you kick in that bed.
My understanding, and from what I saw today after opening up this Meanwell only puts out 14.6 amps. Now this connector is rated for 60 amps. So there has to be something that's not right in the manufacturer. Either they use bad connectors. because you can't crimp these. There's no way to crimp them. And if you crimp them, you're still not getting full contact. So, because here's let me see, I've got one here on my desk here I was playing with earlier today. Where in the heck did I put it? There it is, right there. So here's one right here. And you can see there's no way, if you look at those, they're kind of cut. There's no way that you can crimp those. So my only summation would be that these, they're using a bad batch, and that's completely possible. Ben says he sent, yeah, Ben says he sent some pictures over to Facebook Messenger. So if you want to pull those up, I can't really get to it. Right
here's the first one, actually, to give you an idea of what some people are encountering. Like these things, they're not igniting, they're not combusting really yet, but they basically have just tons of scorch marks. You know, they are torching, and it looks like it's on the return, which makes sense if you know electron flow theory. But if you're noticing, the only way that could happen, you know, basic electronic fundamentals, things don't spontaneously combust. But what happens with electrons is they will always flow the path of least resistance. And as you need more amps, need more power, if the path isn't wide enough to to basically handle all that, it will begin to heat up. And eventually, basically what catches fire is any of the insulators. And that's what you're seeing as the yellow part there is the insulator. It's quite a terrifying thing, to be honest with you. I get kind of nervous just, you know, and that's why I thought I'd check mine. And lo and behold, I was hitting 55, 60 Celsius, which if I left it for several days, yeah, there is a possibility that either it could melt that insulator and allow it to short against metal, or it could be something else, right? You know, nobody wants a fire.
James makes a good point here, and you guys can see I've got the Ender 3 Pro running right now. He makes a great point. James Lane, he says, photo looks like the connector was not fully mated. An electrical connector can heat up if connection is not clean. If the electrical connection is not tight, it will be a resistor, which will heat up. And that makes perfect sense. Now, I'm going to use my gun here. You guys are going to see a little red light appear. Maybe you can see it. Yeah, there you can see it a little bit. So I'm taking a reading of that connector right now, closest to the negative or the return. And my number is this. Let me go back to my camera. There's my number, 25.7 degrees Celsius is what that connector is. And that has been running now since about 45 minutes before 6. So it's been running for quite some time.
Yeah, whereas, and unfortunately, it's giving me some troubles loading up my video clip, but just before the show, while his print was running, I heated the bed from 30 degrees Celsius ambient to 60. And within a minute or so, it was already starting to heat up. I got a measurement on this of 45, 50 degrees right on that one connector. And it wasn't a case of a misreading. I made sure to bounce around make sure it was reading properly. I did go and monitor it and watch it climb at a rate of half a degree every couple of seconds, to be honest. And you know, I'm not going to say that's going to say linear and your house is going to burn down in an hour, but I did run it after 60 hours or 12 hours there, and it was quite like uncomfortably warm, shall we say. That's the best way to describe it.
So now it's not out of the realm of impossibility that they could have had a bad batch of connectors, and that wouldn't surprise me in the least. I mean, Chinese companies get them all the time. Now, again, these connectors are pretty tight, so you do have to put some force in to get them to seat properly. So if you've got an Ender 3, I encourage you guys to double check that. If you want to change these, I would say to go to your local electronics store, whether if you're in the States, that would be 3's, or what are some of the other big ones in the US?
Micro Center. Well, no, Micro Center's more computer stuff, isn't it?
You can get them off DigiKey here in Canada. I know.
Mouser.
Mouser, you can get them on Amazon. And this one here is taken from my batch, from the Amazon batch that I got, which are by Artrink. That's who makes the ones that I'm using. These ones here that are in the bag, you can see this one here, a little bit different shade of orange. This one is, believe, comes from DigiKey. So, and it looks identical to mine, absolutely identical. So,
all right, I got a terrible shoulder cam here. We'll see if I can actually get it going. But oops, where is it here? No, it locked up on me. Lovely. Yeah, basically, I'm not sure if you can see it here, but
yeah,
you know, I was heating up, and you can see it's when I'm sitting on there, it's climbing, 47, 46. And it was almost with nothing hooked into it. You know, that's just it running its regular load, printing away. So I don't know. I still feel a little uncomfortable with the base connector right now. I would say definitely at least replace it or resolder it yourself if you know what you're doing.
They're not hard to resolder. I mean, they're really simple, but I can't see them in any way being able to crimp that connector. That's where my big argument is right now. There's no way to crimp that connector. It won't go around a wire.
I will say I have not seen any photos to suggest that it was crimped, but a lot of people are using the term crimped, which is incorrect. Now, I think it's safe to say the wire gauge is good, fed up to the printer, it seems. Mm-hmm. The connector is good. So it's got to be the manufacturing process on that, because mine is fully plugged in. I could jostle it around all I wanted. And, you know, I don't know, Richard, if you can show a close-up of these connectors. They're not exactly like a single point where they could wiggle and lose contact some way or another.
No, they're not.
They're a pretty robust connector.
Get the camera a little closer. Hang on. All right, so there's a close-up of that connector. So you can see that it has to go in tight, and that is tight.
Here we go. I will, for those of you who don't know where else to buy this, you can also buy these at Hobby King, because these are primarily used for RC cars and batteries with high current sources.
So there's that connector for anybody that's interested in having a look at it working. Yeah, the camera's a little unsteady because it's on a boom arm. So every time I touch the desk, it moves. Hello, Cheryl. Welcome. Now, RT says, I picked one up from Derek. Should be good, right? Yes, it should be. If RT, that you find that once you've put it all together, that it is getting warm, contact me immediately. And you can come and bring it to me, and I will replace the connector at no charge. That way you can be assured that it's done right.
All right, so I got the photo from Hobby King here. Johnny, is it only on the Ender 3 Pro? No, it is on the regular Ender 3s that I've seen. So this connector here, the main thing is it's on the male connector here. There we go. So basically, these connectors work almost like if you played with Lego Technic as a kid. They compress down as they plug in there, and you're supposed to get a contact point right. It's so hard with these things. Bear in mind, I'm learning this technology still. It connects at the tip, and it's supposed to connect further back. Now, if the connectors were poorly designed, they might only make contact at the tip, which could change their electrical rating. So the point is, basically, if you have an Ender 3 or an Ender 3 Pro with these, just do yourself a favor, heat up the hot end and heat up the bed. And during that 5-minute period, just go check on it. Just put your fingers over the connector. And if it feels more than room temperature, you might want to investigate it. Because we don't want people to have printer fires. I sure don't want them.
I would agree with that 100%. If you're having issues, and if you bought one from Spool 3D, and you're finding that you have that issue, contact me and I will take care of it. Sorry, I'm not in my seat at the moment. I'm trying to, there we go. I need to get my filament out of the way. All right, I'm back. Back into the chair, fat man.
Well, hey, Rover, if your printer is hot as in stolen, then you probably got a pretty good deal. I'd say let her roll, but I'm no lawyer.
Okay, now here's something else I've heard of that people are saying that they've got a different board inside the Ender 3 now. And we'll move away from the connector. I think we've pretty much covered it. If you've bought it from Spool 3D before Christmas, before we got this last batch in, and you're not sure and you want to be on the safe side, bring it by the shop and come see me and I will fix it for you at my cost. Or at my, I'll fix it. We won't charge you. All right, so I'm going to show this picture here. Now, people are saying that this board is different. It is not different from the Ender 3 or from the CR10. This is the version 1.1.3. So anybody that is saying that this is a brand new board in their Ender 3s, they're not looking at the board. I have to make this perfectly clear because I opened that and that was the first thing that I looked at. And same thing when we do the CR10 unboxing and review, I'm going to open up the bottom of that cage as well and show you exactly what board's in there.
Now, we did discover it this week. It is not the same board as the CRX. So,
it is not.
So we looked into it. You can't easily convert it to a dual extruder. So don't think you can shortcut that. Trust me.
This particular board that's in this one is in the original CR10. It's also in the CR10 Mini. Uses the same board. If you've got a Mini, most of them are still version 1.1.2, but they are putting 1.1.3 in the Minis as well. But in the CR10S, the CR10X are both the same board. The only difference between those two boards is they have the extra stepper driver populated on the board. It's still the same board.
Just hopping back to our previous topic there, Ashley, if you have photos showing that, I'd love to see them.
Yeah, me too.
If you're not a part of the community yet, come over and join us at the first layer. I'll post a link to our Facebook group here in the chat, and by all means, let's continue this discussion because clearly there was something that went wrong, and we do want Creality and other OEMs to take that extra precaution to make sure that you have a safe product.
Absolutely.
So go ahead and click that link that popped up in the chat. Come join us. And while you're at it, give us a thumbs up and subscribe if you're interested in all our new crazy, crazy content we do here.
Yeah, we've got a lot of crazy stuff coming up.
Oh, boy, do we ever. 2019, yeah.
2019. Happy New Year, everybody. Welcome, and thanks for joining us again here on the first layer for our live stream Saturday night. We weren't going to do one this week, but Brian convinced me otherwise. He said, we need to get this out there and let's have a look at it. So like I said, I went to Spool 3D on Friday and I said to Derek, I said, I'm taking one home this weekend. He went, okay. We need another one in the showroom anyway, so I'm taking it back on Monday when I go. I don't get to keep it. But speaking of things to give away, can I mention it, Brian?
I suppose. I mean, the video comes out on Tuesday, right?
Can I tease that we're giving away stuff all year long?
I suppose, yeah. I mean, Tuesday's the kickoff, right? You definitely want to tune in on Tuesday. We've got our first giveaway, and Richard, maybe you can tell us a little bit about our strategy for 2018 or 2019. We're a year ahead. We're strategy for 2018. Just make it.
So here's what Brian and I have sat down, and we had Jess also in on it, and my wife and Derek, and we have decided that this year is Year of the Maker. So that is our theme for 2019. Brian and I want to bring you guys projects where we go beyond just 3D printing something. I mean, last year, if you've looked at any of our previous content, you know, we've printed a lot of stuff, but we haven't printed anything that can move to beyond just printing something and painting it. So this year we're incorporating a lot of projects. We want to clean up a lot of the projects that we kind of started last year. So just to give you guys an idea, we've got a camera slider coming up this year we're going to be doing or finishing. So we've got 3D printed parts going into a camera slider. We're going to use an Arduino as well, stepper motor. So all the kinds of things that you would use on your 3D printer. We've got an arcade machine, thanks to our good friend James over at Print and Play. We're going to be 3D printing a video cabinet or a video arcade cabinet for your desk and putting all that together. We've got 2 robots that we're doing, one based on, let's go this way. One based on the Easy Robot stuff, and the other one, which is over here, which I now have eyes in.
Yes, it's no longer the nightmare that was Jess.
Yes. So this is what it is now. For anybody that's interested. We are going to be doing some printing with nylon this year. Yes, we're going to be experimenting with a whole bunch of different materials this year. This is all printed in ABS. And this is the head for my InMove robot. This is all going to be done with the traditional InMove stuff. We've got servos for the eyes. We've got servos for the jaw. We also have a servo to turn the neck. As you can see, we've got servo wires hanging out the bottom there. So this computer that you see behind me with the monitor and the PC up there, that is strictly being used for the InMove robot build that we're doing. Kind of creepy, Aaron F says. Yeah, it is kind of creepy. Wait till it starts talking to you. What else we got on? We're going to build 2 printers this year.
Yes.
We're going to rebuild. We're going to finish rebuilding 1. So that's 3 printers, technically 3 printer builds we're doing this year.
And, you know, as I said, we are focusing on Year of the Maker. So the Maker can imply multiple concepts, and one of which is how we produce this show. So, you know, tonight, Richard and I are broadcasting from our homes. We have the stuff in the studio, but we're looking at little ways to improve the video quality, improve the interaction with you. Right now, I'm literally talking at a camera while using my peripheral to determine, you know, how things look. So one of the things we're doing is using an LCD screen. We are going to be building and 3D printing a teleprompter. One for the studio, and I will be making one for my home studio here, where we can actually be talking directly at a person, but we'll be looking directly within the camera. You
know, I should probably build one for my studio here at home too.
And, you know, we're not talking high cost here. I just purchased this week for $75 Canadian from Spool 3D. There's a couple other Amazon, AliExpress, you can get these, and they're HDMI screens. So we'll talk about the technology of how a teleprompter works and how a once very, very, very expensive system can be had now for under $100.
Yeah, it's really amazing where technology is going. We've got many projects that we've got on the go right now. Of course, we're going to be talking about AstroPrint and Octoprint this year, and then we're going to do a comparison between the two, which is better. I use both AstroPrint and Octoprint. You use Octoprint and AstroPrint as well, right, Brian?
I have, as of now, abandoned AstroPrint, and I can give reasons throughout the year, but really, right now, it comes down to stability, and what Octoprint is doing is absolutely incredible. So I've got 2 machines on Octoprint printing right now.
There you go. And I have 3 machines on AstroPrint and 1 on Octoprint, which we're going to start to convert over very, very soon. And what else we got going on? We're going to, for May the 4th, I have a very special episode coming up for May the 4th this year, because everybody knows I'm a Star Wars fan. And if you don't know that, then you're watching the wrong channel and you don't really know me, you guys.
And if they want to get to know us in person, you can meet me, or if you really don't want to, just tell me and I'll leave, or Richard at the Calgary Comic and Entertainment Expo.
Yes, we're going to be at the Calgary Comic and Entertainment Expo for Spool 3D this year. I'll be bringing a lot of the stuff that I've painted and my wife has cleaned. We're going to be doing a lot more painting videos from home here as well. You guys are going to see those. What do you guys want to see? I know we've had some requests to dive deeper into the slicing softwares and dive deeper into Marlin. And I'm going to let Brian speak to the Marlin part of it.
Yeah, I think it's all fair to say at this point, the majority of printer users out there are on some derivation of Marlin. I mean, as much as I can respect RepRap and their place with deltas, Marlin just seems to be growing and is the way to go. So I'd like to go in depth with you guys and teach you the intricate details of what an overly complex process actually is. And in this case, how your printer is actually extremely simple. It's just some extra mathematics that the firmware takes care of. So if you want to learn more in depth about how each little piece of your printer works, let me know. Give me a thumbs up in the comments and I'll put together a video series for you.
We're getting a question here. Hey, Richard, I got taken to a Star Wars parody dinner theater for my birthday. It was awesome. That's great. I'd love to go see one of those. What do we got here? Somebody was saying something. Oh, better green screen technology. LOL. Jake from State Farm.
Hey. Okay, yeah, I have draped it behind me further back today. Okay, my knuckles are clear. That's true, but I am trying. I don't exactly have a studio here.
And help him set up the studio so he can put it away very easily.
Yeah.
One of the other things that we're going to be doing, and you guys are a big part of this, is in the second quarter of this year, we are going to try and make sure that we've got our merch to release. We're going to start with 2 t-shirts, one purple, one dark gray, and they will have our new logo on them for you guys. So if you're interested in that, stay tuned. Watch for our launch of our actual website, which is up, but there's nothing there. We do have to fix that. Oh, it's Jubilations, James is saying.
Yeah, I'm definitely gonna go check out that. I didn't know Jubilations was running that. That's great.
Yeah, that's awesome. I'd love to go see that. What else we got going on here? Oh, somebody wanted to know about OBS. Do you use OBS? You do, but I don't.
I do because I'm cheap, okay? Some of us don't just magically own vMix on day one of production, okay? I mean, I looked at vMix. It is a good product, but I'm a big pusher for whatever free software out there if it can do a lot of things. And I will admit, OBS is clunky. It is. But if you get your environment set up right and do a bit of switching and switch it to production mode, it's pretty good. I just wanted to jump aside here for a moment because Rover is just linking us to the SolidWorks for 2019. So let's take a minute and talk about that, because if you haven't heard, way to go Autodesk. Okay, I'm just gonna give claps for Autodesk, everyone, because their attempts to try and get the software out there for people now, they've gone way above and beyond what Autodesk was when I used SolidWorks in 2009, 2010. So if you sign up, Rover's provided the link in there, and there's a code. I think it's 318 Maker. I could be wrong. They'll give you a free license for the $4,000 software or license for SolidWorks until January 1st, 2020 for free. And you can download the latest version. It's, as far as I can tell, not feature limited whatsoever. But just beware, it is very intimidating. I opened it up myself, and I'm like, I don't remember how to use this at all. So I kind of went back to Fusion 360. But that shouldn't stop you from having the license on hand, because it is an incredibly powerful piece of software.
It is. I haven't looked at it too much. I did go to a seminar about it last year, and I'm still trying to fumble my way through Fusion 360, as most people know. And we are going to talk more about those types of programs this year as well, because it kind of all goes in with our theme of Year of the Maker, and we want you guys to really show off your project, stuff that you're making. I don't care if you've designed it yourself, you got it off a Thingiverse, or you paid for a file from another person. Every month, we are going to go through all of the pictures that we have up on our Facebook page. So if you're not a member over there, over on Facebook, make sure you become a member, because that's where we're going to go to find our monthly winners of the best make for that month. And every month, the winner will receive Mini-Me. And I'll print it for you, but you have to paint it. And then I'd be interested to see how many people got this and how they painted it at the end of the year.
2,000 years from now, there'll be a little shrine in like the mountains in China, and they'll be like, "Who was this guy?" And they'll be like, "Oh."
No idea. So yeah, we're going to be giving you an award every month. I am going to print them in brass filament. So yes, that's scary, Jake. I know. But what we want you to do is we want you to be very active in your 3D printing this year. I don't care what you're doing, but you're still making. It doesn't matter if you're making somebody else's design or you've made your own. Put it up on our Facebook page with the hashtag Year of the Maker. Let's keep that going. I really want people to know that this is what we're focusing on this year. Last year was all about getting started in 3D printing. This year, let's get into some more intermediate stuff and really expand the hobby for us.
Absolutely. I think you said it best there.
So,
by all means, we're not going to try and restrict this to our community. By all means, I want you to slap that hashtag out on Twitter, start, Facebook, Instagram, and show off what you can do this year, because this is about everybody. This isn't just about us. Let's get this rolling. Let's show off what we are capable of and what this technology has brought to us that was previously not achievable, frankly.
RT says challenge. Yes, this is a challenge, and I'm talking to each and every one of you.
Michael Fuentes is asking about the Bondtech upgrade. Now, I'm not going to jump too far ahead in our videos of our backlog, but maybe you can provide a bit of an update on your Bondtech and how it's going.
The Bondtech is working extremely well. I haven't had any issues with it. We did have some issues with some crap filament recently, not from Spool 3D, but from another maker or from another supplier, and not something that Spool 3D sells. It was, how could I put it? It wouldn't lay down very well, and then it would clog the nozzle after the first layer. So, and it consistently did it every time. Brian was there when it was happening, so he can definitely attain to that. We're going to cover some more cosplay stuff this year too. So those of you that are interested in costuming and that kind of stuff, I'll show you how your 3D printer can be used to enhance your cosplay as well. But as far as the Bondtech goes, I think it's a great product. I do think it's a little overpriced. I haven't printed anything with flexible yet, but that is coming in upcoming weeks. So that's only weeks away before I show you how that Bondtech works. Coming out on Tuesday, we are doing our what you should really have if you're a 3D printer. And then on Thursday's episode, you're going to see the final part of the CR10 upgrades that we made, which included the Bondtech. We put the Micro Swiss all metal hot end on, the Pets Fang, and then finally the BL Touch. So you're going to get to see the BL Touch working come next on Thursday. You're going to see that. So Aaron F's is definitely overpriced.
It's a little steep. I just want to jump back. Hoppinaki said he's looking into getting into, and I love this team name, Unlimited, referring to a limb of an arm for printing for children who have lost a hand. Have you heard of this or have had anything to do with it?
I have not had anything to do with that particular program, but I have been involved with Enable a little bit through the Calgary 3D Printing Club, of which I'm an organizer. The Calgary 3D Printing Club, we got together and we made a prosthetic arm for a young man who was only 5 years old. He was missing his arm from this point on, and he was born that way, so it wasn't due to an accident or anything. So the arms that he was getting through War Amps, which is a nonprofit service here in Canada, were providing him with arms that weren't very adequate for his needs. He could basically had a claw, I guess, that didn't do anything. It could go around basically his bike handle, and that was basically all it was. What we did, we started with the first level of enable. So when it went on the arm, it actually goes up over the bicep. There's strapping that goes up. So every time he moved his arms, if he moved his arm towards himself, the fingers would close. If he straightened it out, the fingers would be open. So he could grasp bottles. He could grasp his handlebike bar or his handlebars on his bike. He was still limited, but he had a little bit more functionality than he did before. Then we upgraded that one to the next level, and I can't remember exactly what that was. But again, it was all run with high tensile fishing line. It was not a bionic arm, which the group right now is working on. I'm not a part of that project right now just because I have no time. I'd love to be more a part of that project, but through my learning on doing the InMove project, we may get into some of that closer to the end of 2019, or we may roll it over into 2020.
And with that, there was also a competition with the Alberta government here, actually, in regards to making ability, I'm not sure how to word it, but assistant tools, basically, for the Children's Hospital. And that competition is ongoing. Unfortunately, I can't find any update emails. I received something about a month ago of where they were at there. But it seems that that a lot more of these projects basically are becoming much more popular, and a lot of the medical industry is a lot more interested now in the side of makers and stuff. If you have a foundation that you're aware of, that especially if there's something local in Calgary or in Alberta that we can get in touch with and help promote them, please let us know, because we're all for this. We all have idle time on our printers anyways, so I'd love to see. And if you've started up a joint venture with some kind of business, we'd love to hear about it too, and just find
Absolutely.
out how makers are also helping each other, right? Year of the Maker is not just for the maker, but it's the community in total. What are you doing for the world with your machinery?
That's a really good point, because most of us have more than one machine now. What am I at? 5 machines now. One's not currently working, but the other 5 are, or other 4 are. And I don't use them for anything but the show, really, and then stuff that we're going to take to a convention. But yes, if you've got more than one machine, why not get it working for you? And we're going to talk a little bit about that as the year goes on how you can possibly turn your hobby into a revenue generating stream for yourself. Even if it just puts a couple of extra dollars in your pocket at the end of the day. A couple extras more than you had when you started the day.
So whether it's for profit or not for profit, we'd love to see what you're doing with your printers. That's all what it's about. I love to see what you guys are printing, because I am not by means the best 3D printer out there. I do terrible things to my machines, and I'm sure you'll eventually see I have now officially coined my machine the CR10M for monster. So you know what? As much as I want to, I need a little bit more push from people before I can bring it to the convention, because I know Richard doesn't want me to drag that thing over. So if you want to see me bring my CR monster down to the what was it there, the Expo. Calgary Expo. See, I'm already forgetting its name. That's how productive I am. If you want to see it down at the Calgary Expo, give me another thumbs up in the video, and I'll haul that thing down, and we'll see what we can spin off in an afternoon. And
now, just so you guys know, speaking of the Calgary Expo, I'm going to let you guys know, mark your calendars, get them out now, because we are going to be at the Calgary Expo, which is down at the fairgrounds here in Calgary, right downtown, from the 25th to the 28th. So we're going to be there on Thursday night, all day Friday, all day Saturday, and all day Sunday. That's the Calgary Comic and Entertainment Expo here in Calgary. This is, I think, is what, the 15th annual?
It's well, it depends on what you define as annual based off how many foundations have taken it over. Yep. But if there's one thing I can emphasize, if you were planning on using Buy Me a Coffee that week, just bring us a coffee instead. We will really, really, really need it because there's no good coffee in that convention center.
No, there isn't. I might have to make a thermos of my favorite McDonald's coffee.
We could always 3D print a once-through steam generator.
Just don't print a bong. I'm just going to put that out there.
Just don't do it.
Yeah, don't do it. Let's take a look at some questions that are going on here. Raymond Emsley says, was it gray filament by chance? So I was talking about the bad filament that we tried. Raymond, you are correct. And Raymond, I need to talk to you on Monday. Don't let me forget. If you're coming down, come down and see me on Monday because I have your printer not quite ready yet. Michael Fuentes, I'm getting my SolidWorks certification in April. Good for you, man.
That's freaking
awesome.
That's awesome. And let me know what they're training in SolidWorks, because the last time I touched it, we got into the tooling, we did the CNC routing, and I actually ran CNCs, but we didn't get to the stress analysis, and that's a really cool feature that actually exists in Fusion 360 as well. So, I'll be honest, I'm trying to avoid getting to Fusion 360 on the channel because I personally don't know a lot, and there are much better channels out there for it. But if you really would like us to go through a quick crash course on Fusion 360 one week, let me know and I'll queue it up.
Yeah, I've always recommended that people go and see Lars Christensen on YouTube. If you are wanting to get the best Fusion 360 tutorials from beginning right through to advanced, Lars Christensen is the man to watch. There's no doubt about it. Hands down, he's the guy to watch. So let's see. What do we got here? Michael Fuentes says, I love the iFixit tools you mentioned. Bought the same one you have. Well, great. I love my iFixit kit. I mean, mine is the...
you have the full kit, right? I have
the full kit. I have this one here in the pouch. I love this kit. This is probably the best kit I have ever owned by far. It easily can do anything I want it to do. So the one kit, the Essentials kit, or the 64-bit kit, pardon me, that you guys have seen me talk about, and you're going to see it again on Tuesday. That's just kind of a hint what might be coming on Tuesday, or what is coming on Tuesday. The iFixit kit is probably, in my mind, make the investment, because not only can it help you fix your 3D printer, but it can help you fix a myriad of other products, your cell phone, your tablet, your computer, it has unlimited uses. It has all the bits you could possibly want in it. The code, Ian says, for the SolidWorks is 918MAKER.
And that's the only thing you have to enter. Yep.
That's they ask you for that. Yeah.
Yep. They ask you for that and an email address, and you're good to go, basically.
918MAKER. So make sure you guys go and get a copy of SolidWorks today for free. Why not? I mean, it's a $4,000 piece of software. Go get it.
Even if you're on your phone tonight, go there, click that link, type it in. You'll get a product key. That product key is good for the year. You can go download the product later because it's like 9 gigs or something ridiculous. And I understand that some people don't have high-speed internet connections. So, just grab the key for now, have it on hand. And, as I said, I booted it up. It gave me no problems. It just said, hey, it's activated SolidWorks standard until January 1st, 2020. And for all we know, come January 2020, they'll probably give out a new code. So grab it, and learn it, because it's a great piece of software to even have on a resume.
Yeah, it is. You know that. I mean,
Yeah, my trade is in oil and gas and software development on PLCs, HMIs, and all the industrial control stuff. So, this is just an extension of my business, really, this hobby. So that's why sometimes I talk in weird technical terms, and Rich kicks me in the shins several times. So I'm trying.
well, I'm not much better. When it comes to talking about audio equipment, I pretty much do the same thing. So, I talk in riddles.
Mm-hmm.
But PCLs, I love PLCs. PLC, what the hell are PLCs?
Okay, a PLC is a programmable logic controller. Take an
Okay.
Arduino, put it in an industrial case, give it certifications for different area classifications, and most of your I/O is either relay-based, switching 24 volts or 120, or analog-based. But unlike Arduinos that measure voltage, the industrial control realm uses 4 to 20 milliamps, and the reason for that is because there's no noise. Basically, no electrical noise doesn't impact current; it only impacts voltage. So there's your 20-second industrial control introduction today.
Now I know something new, and knowing is half the battle.
G.I. Joe.
And now we're demonetized. So again, I want to thank you guys. Just after the new year, what was it? Just 2 days after the new year, we broke 4,000 subscribers on YouTube. Thank you very much to all you guys out there that have subscribed and stick with us. We do appreciate it. And I got to tell you, man, we're having a great time. We've got a lot of great stuff for you in 2019. We're going to wrap it up here right away. I got to thank Brian, who has become a wonderful technical advisor. He knows more than I do. He's younger than I am too. So I've forgotten probably more than he knows, but
I'm still trying to learn though too. I mean, I actually have quite a vast background in Arduino and PIC programming and any sort of microcontroller coding, C languages. So, Marlin is intriguing for me because I don't have to learn the programming language. I just have to learn what it's trying to do. And with that, I mean, I'm digging in Marlin 2.0 every single day. And what Scott and his team are doing there is absolutely incredible. And I do encourage you guys to go onto Facebook and check out his Marlin firmware group because he's actually been struggling a little bit lately with some of the other community dramas that are going on. And he's trying to spin up Marlin 2.0 for some time this year. So I'd love for you guys to go out and encourage him and say, hey, thanks for this great product. And if you can contribute financially to them, I'm sure the community will be grateful. This is, again, Year of the Maker. So, do what you can to help each other. And I guarantee it's going to be a net positive for everybody.
Arduino is going to be a big part of stuff that we do this year as well. So is Raspberry Pi and Linux. And, it kind of gets out of 3D printing, but 3D printing is the crux of what's going to get us there. So again, I want to thank all you guys that have signed up or that are following us here on Facebook, over on subscribers over on YouTube. Thank you very much. We are trying to hit our 5,000 mark here pretty soon. We're hoping to get there before the end of February. I have no doubt in my mind that we'll do it, and it's all because of you guys spreading the word, sharing our videos, putting your thumbs up or your thumbs down. You know what? If it's not encouraging to you, you got nothing out of it, or I made a hell of a mistake, let me know, because I will take responsibility for the mistakes that I make. And we will see you guys all again on Tuesday. So let's thank Brian first. Big hand for Brian.
Thanks, everybody. Good to see you again. And look forward to seeing you hopefully every Saturday, unless Richard gets sick.
Yeah.
Otherwise, it might be a show with Brian, and you will be here for 6 hours. Yeah.
We also got to thank Frank, who sadly has moved on. Frank in December,
moved away, not moved on. He's still with us. He's still alive.
Okay, he's still with us, yes, but he has moved to Victoria, starting a new life, and we only wish the best for Frank as he starts this next chapter in his life, and hopefully, we'll see him maybe once in a while here on the show over the year. I want to thank Jess Corniching, who, without her, I wouldn't laugh nearly as much as I do, and she pokes fun at me all the time and makes me flub my recordings. And so we're going to put together a blooper show for you next year. I'm sure there's going to be a lot of bloopers. And I want to thank my wife, who encourages me to keep going and make sure that I get my ass out of bed every day and gets a recording content for you guys. And thanks to all you guys. Again, without you, this is not possible at all. We're poised right now. We're over the 50 mark for 4,050 subscribers. So I have no doubt in my mind within the next couple of days, we're going to hit 4,100, and then it's on to 5,000. That is our next milestone. After that, we're on to 10,000, and we'll just keep going. And thank you again. So with that said, my friends, I'm going to say goodbye. Brian, thanks again for all of your help again this evening.
Thank you again, Rich, for confirming that my Ender 3 is cursed. It's not all of them.
It's not all of them. Well, no. Raymond might have one that's cursed too, but
yeah, that's a story. That's a tale that needs a lot more smoke and grayscale on this. Thank you, Raymond, for tolerating us.
We've got a great show coming out for you on Tuesday. Make sure you watch that one because we're giving some stuff away. On Tuesday, we're going to start a brand new contest. It'll run for a couple of weeks, and there are some very important things that you have to do to get involved in that contest. So make sure that you join us on Tuesday. Watch the show. It comes out at 5 p.m. Mountain Standard Time here in Calgary. What's that? 4 on the East Coast and 6 on the West Coast, or 3 on the East Coast?
Oh my gosh, you're right off track. 7 p.m. Eastern, 5 p.m. Mountain, 4 p.m. Pacific. And for any of our international viewers, I'm sorry, we're going to have to hit a website to figure out what it is.
Yeah, there we go. So remember, until we see you guys again, that the first layer is always your foundation to a great print. Have yourselves a great weekend. We'll see you back here on Tuesday.
Bye, everybody.